Rabbit was fierce, slain many a prince he has. Many a prince. He looks like he's nothing except for just a normal cute little bunny rabbit.
Little bunny foo-foo hopping through the forest.
Yeah, that's what Terry said too. Before little bunny foo-foo rabbit man.
They killed the puppy!
He killed the puppy. Only Terry is fine because there were no animals harmed in the making of the story. Except for the little rabbit from hell. But, hey, that's okay. So the great fearless Prince Steve ran to the bunny rabbit hole in the wall forest den thing that was the entrance way towards the castle, and there in the distance was the ferocious rabbit. And all that Prince Steve had with him besides his sword, his trusty steed, and a 9mm semi-automatic Glock. Oh no, that wouldn't work. A rock and a slingshot, because that'd be more for the times. Picked up his trusty rock and slingshot and spun it around his head really fast and let it go. Unfortunately, he killed the wise owl above, but the wise owl... Nah, not the wise owl. Killed the falcon above. Unfortunately, the falcon turned into a dive-bombing missile and pierced the rabbit right in two. And the evil rabbit man was no more. There were tears shed. Not by him, not by the rabbit man. Really not by anybody. But the story is always better with tears shed. Now great Prince Steve decides that he wants to go up into the tower, but he's faced with a choice. How do I kill Oprah? Which I guess a lot of people always have that opinion too. Never know quite what to do. So what does Prince Steve do? As opposed to killing
Ellen DeGeneres.
He writes a book. A kid's book. About his adventures in Prince and Princess Land. That he publishes by some publisher in England. Because there's no publishers in the U.S. that would do it. And he submits it to Oprah's book club, and lo and behold, it gets her book club of the month thingy.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's got an end to Oprah in the castle. So he goes in, talking some smack, goes through, gets that, and then Oprah turns into her ugly goat man personality thing. So Steve rips out his sword, slashes the evil one through the heart.
How?
Da! And she spins around in a circle a couple of times because that's what people do when they're dramatically dying and overacting in the process, and falls to the ground dead. And there she lay, dead. Prince Steve valiantly jumps back up onto the couch where he's comfortable. Races up the stairs. Gets halfway up, decides to come off of that floor, press the button for the elevator, and ride the rest of the way up. As well, Prince Steve is tired at this point and doesn't want to run up any more stairs. Gets up to the top highest steeple where his princess, that he really didn't know was his princess, but his princess is sitting because that's the girl that God guided him to. Because why would the little magical leprechaun dude and the Sierra fairy godmother point them in the right direction?
Why wouldn't they point him in the right direction?
What?
Why wouldn't they point him in the right direction?
Well, if it wasn't God's hand in there, why would they point him in the right direction? So he knocks on the door. Because, well, he's a little bit slow at this point because he just killed the mean rabbit, killed Oprah, slashed, all that good stuff because he's tired now. Knocks on the door, and lo and behold, nothing happens. There's no response. So he picks the lock, opens the door, and there, laying on the bed thingy, carpet, foo-foo chair thingy, is his magical princess that is beautiful. But she's asleep. So he grabs the camera out of her
We
hands.
have to take the end of the story.
And he grabs the camera out of her hands. And he knows from Sleeping Beauty that the only way to wake her up is with a nice kiss. So he does. And lo and behold, she wakes up.
I'm awake!
She's awake! She's awake! She's awake! Woohoo! Woohoo! She's awake! And he lifts her up in the cradle like this position thingy where he's walking her over the threshold or whatnot. Carries her down the stairs. Fortunately, he doesn't trip, because that would just be a bad ending to a good story. Gets down the stairs, throws her on the back of his steed, hops on himself, and drives off to...
Rides off into the sunset.
Yeah, rides off into the sunset to
And
go
they live
get
happily
married,
ever
and they
after.
live happily ever after. The end.
Applause, please.
Yay!